Prince Harry believes his British police protection was axed in a bid to stop him and Meghan from leaving the royal family. The Duke of Sussex telling a newspaper his worst fears were confirmed during his recent legal appeal in London.
Exhausted and overwhelmed by a legal battle that spanned years, Prince Harry says the decision to scrap his taxpayer-funded police protection was difficult to swallow. The Duke of Sussex opening up to British newspaper The Telegraph after a 2-day appeal hearing to challenge the British government's decision. With some of the case heard in private, Harry says his worst fears have been confirmed by the whole legal disclosure in this case, and that's really sad. And that people would be shocked by what's being held back. The Duke now believes his security was withdrawn to try and force him and Meghan to stay in Britain by making visits back more difficult and potentially unsafe. The decision made in 2020 after Harry announced they were stepping back from royal duties and leaving the country. The Duke telling the paper, "We were trying to create this happy house," and that this legal fight is more significant than his one against the tabloids, saying, "This one always mattered the most." As Prince Harry waits for a decision on his appeal, he says win or lose, he plans to continue returning to his former home to support his charities with no mention of seeing his family. In London, Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
Welcome back, Royal Sussex Squad family. It's no secret that Prince Harry has endured more than his fair share of betrayal, gaslighting and public scrutiny. But what's truly shocking is just how deep the betrayal from within his own family really runs. Today we're unpacking the emotional aftermath of Harry's ongoing legal battle over security. A battle that's not just about protection, but about truth, justice and exposing the calculated cruelty he and Meghan have endured. This isn't just a court case, this is about the institutional rot within the monarchy and the media machine that's been weaponized against Harry and Meghan. And make no mistake, this latest round of revelations confirms what many of us in the Sussex community have known for years. This was never about protocol, this was punishment, this was power, and this was personal. Let's get into the truth the firm doesn't want the world to hear. For the past 5 years, Prince Harry has been watching a carefully orchestrated system try to dismantle his life and the life he's built with Meghan. While the British press painted their every move as dramatic or selfish, behind closed doors, Harry was fighting a much deeper war. He knew that the institution, the royal machine, had turned on him. What he didn't expect, perhaps, was just how willing his own blood relatives were to watch him fall. At the heart of this is a cruel irony. When Harry and Meghan tried to create a life of service from abroad, still willing to support the crown, just in a healthier, safer environment, they were punished. Not for dereliction of duty, but for independence. They refused to be controlled. They refused to play the British tabloid game. They refused to let their children be raised in an environment where the media's appetite for destruction went unchecked. And what was the response? Instead of gratitude for their decades of service, they were met with manipulation, leaks, and calculated abandonment. When Harry and Meghan proposed a half-in, half-out role back in 2020, they believed they were offering a solution, a bridge, a respectful compromise. And initially, it appeared Queen Elizabeth supported it, even expressing in writing that they needed effective security. But that support meant nothing once the behind-the-scenes players had their way. Enter Ravek, the so-called independent committee that ultimately decided to strip Harry and Meghan of state-funded security. But if this was just a routine government call, why were courtiers and royal aides involved? Why did the very people closest to King Charles, his own aides, play such a significant role in a decision that endangered not just a prince, but a wife and 2 young children? Let's not kid ourselves. This was not about cost. This was not about fairness. This was about control. Harry's legal team rightly argued that Ravek didn't just deviate from policy, they singled him out for inferior treatment, even compared to former prime ministers and celebrities. A working royal who served in Afghanistan, who faced documented threats from extremist groups, was told he wasn't worth protecting, all because he refused to be a pawn of the monarchy's toxic press relationship. But the most damning aspect is this. Harry left Sandringham under the impression that security would continue. That assurance was rooted in conversations and correspondence with the Queen herself. Yet only a month later, everything changed. It's clear this wasn't a miscommunication, it was a bait and switch. And behind that switch, Byline Times connected the dots. Dan Wootton, one of the nastiest tabloid attack dogs in the UK, was working in tandem with William's then-aide Christian Jones. Together, they orchestrated a media campaign while simultaneously supporting internal efforts to isolate the Sussexes. It's no coincidence that shortly after Harry refused to play the game with the tabloids, his security was pulled. And if reports are accurate, King Charles was at the helm of it all. The real goal: force Harry and Meghan back to the UK, not out of love, but so they'd return humbled, broke and frightened. The royal establishment didn't just want to clip their wings, they wanted to cage them. Some even speculate that Charles hoped the strain would lead to Harry and Meghan's divorce. Let's be very clear. They never wanted Meghan back. She was never meant to survive the institution. From the moment she stepped into the royal spotlight, Meghan was seen as a disruptor, an outsider, not because she lacked grace, intelligence, or compassion, but because she had all of those things in abundance, and she was a black woman who refused to be silent. What they didn't count on was the strength of their bond. Harry has stood by Meghan every step of the way, and Meghan has never wavered in her support for her husband. They are stronger together, and the monarchy's attempts to break them have only solidified their love and purpose. And now, the legal fight is personal. Harry made it clear this battle over security isn't just paperwork or protocol. It's about the safety of his wife and his children. It's about ensuring that no other member of his family is ever placed in the position he's been in, forced to choose between safety and independence, between family and freedom. Let's not forget, Harry already won a massive legal settlement against the Sun in January 2025, proving the press's illegal activities. But this case, this one is different. This one matters more than all the rest, because if anything ever happened to Meghan, Archie, or Lilibet, Harry has said he could never rest. And we believe him. Even in the midst of this emotional storm, Harry remains committed to his causes. On April 10th, just a day after his grueling court appearance, he travelled to Ukraine to support war victims. That is the heart of a true royal, serving others, even while fighting his own battles. This is what the firm turned its back on. A son, a soldier, a leader, a man who is finally unmasking the cruelty of an institution that prefers silence over truth, obedience over justice, and appearance over love. The truth is out, and there's no putting it back in the box. Prince Harry has endured the ultimate betrayal, not just by the tabloids, but by his own flesh and blood, and yet he stands tall, fighting for his family, his principles, and his truth. That's what courage looks like, that's what leadership looks like, and that's why we continue to stand with Harry and Meghan. To those who still dare to question their choices, their integrity, or their love, we say this: look again. Because they've done more with honesty and compassion than the whole of the royal machinery has done with their centuries of pageantry. If you believe in justice, if you believe in truth, if you believe that Harry and Meghan deserve peace, safety, and respect, make sure you subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and most importantly, support us with the super thanks to keep this truth alive and unfiltered. We're not backing down, and neither is Harry. This is Royal Sussex Squad, reminding you to always speak truth, stay loyal, and protect our own. Until next time, onward with purpose.